So upon looking at the unaccountable, the hyper unaccountable Becky Hammon make another foot and mouth commentary after after about Jalen Brunson after the championship, right? This idea that she gave it a pick. I love when people speak. They kind of reveal themselves. Mentioning the fact that ESPN pays you. Now, something Kingsbridge Rowe talked about before, right? That she was paid, obviously paid by ESPN to give commentary, but she was paid to give the commentary they wanted to make. And again, if this is her, I mean, look, she's contradicted herself many times. She's moved the goalposts throughout. I mean, again, she was at the conversation wasn't what were the Knicks going to win a championship that particular season, or the conversation was were they gonna. What did the Knicks need to do, or do they have enough to move into from the middle of the pack? And it's funny, it's coming on the heels of the Giannis trade. I think that where they thought the Knicks were at the time, exactly where the Miami Heat are now. In that particular season as well. So this actually was 23, right? So this actually was 23. After the Heat's last championship, last finals run. 1 second. So, her mentioning that she gets paid by ESPN, and I already theorized this. She got paid to have a slander session on the Knicks, not to give a good analysis. Again, this is in Brunson. This is in the middle of Brunson's second year, beginning of the second year, like. And so when I look at what Brunson had accomplished in a Knicks uniform up to that point, like the first year against Miami, he had a strong showing, right? And that's what the thing people were thinking, like, hey, this guy's already played well in the playoff. Not to mention Candace Parker, another WNBA great, Hall of Famer, had the same type of commentary. And then again, as Kendrick Perkins is trying to point out, he's accomplished this. He's done this. He scored 50 points in a game. I believe he had I'm not sure if the 61 point, because the conversation happened December 23. And I'm not sure if he had the 61 point a game yet. But Brunson was giving you plenty indications, plenty of performances that would indicate he is the one they do. So her standing on the square, and again, if she don't want to apologize, that's the pride thing, right? That's the pride thing. That's her, again, to me, this is why no one will ever, if she has aspirations to be a men's head coach, that's probably out the window. But then, like I said, you cannot then say it's because of misogyny, because she's not an accountable person. And this is right there. Again, the fact that she's so off and not understanding that, hey, you don't need to be the prototypical 6'10", 6'9", 6'8" superstar, whatever. You don't have to leap out the gym. In many ways to skin that cat. And her saying a man who, this is what I hate. People gatekeep and then they just ignore performances. Well, they ain't gonna do it again. They keep doing it again and doing it again and doing it again. And every step of the way, Jalen Brunson was doing things that would indicate to you he is that superstar. This is why, like I said, I don't sit there. You want to talk about he's an outlier again? Okay, you're looking for, I guess, first of all, Isaiah Thomas wasn't a over 25 point scorer. He was around 20, right? So that means when Tony Parker did it, he led the Heat twice. He led the Heat. The Spurs in scoring on a championship team, both the regular season and the playoffs. He did it in 2007. Well, 2007, I think he only did it in the playoffs. But 2009 and 2014, he was the leading scorer. Yes, it was only 16, but again, that's you talking about an ensemble cast. Again, Chauncey Billups, same deal. Gus Williams, same deal. So you're not even getting the history right. But yes, Brunson is the guy who scored over 20-something. Him and Curry are now the only two guards to qualify in that where you could say, excuse me, led his team scoring over 25 points a game to a championship. Now that's only him and Curry in that boat. And this is where Becky Hammon again, I don't even know why I allow the nonsense to trigger me, because again, wrong is wrong, and people will stand on their wrong until, again, out of pride. It's pride for her at this point. She don't want anybody telling me, I was wrong about my opinion on the men's game, which she was, again, and again, I don't really think that it was her opinion, because again, she was a small guard in her sport, right, in the WNBA, and she was able to, teams, she was able to lead good teams, and then she did with the Liberty and whatever else, San Antonio, I believe she played for, they were the Silver Stars or whatever it was. It wasn't exactly, they didn't win a championship, I don't believe, but she was in the mix. And that's the thing. Remember, they only asked for the Knicks, could the Knicks get in the mix? So now, as you move the goalposts on a bad, outdated take the whole way, it just doesn't lend to you to you looking good in this situation. I'm sorry. You're looking worse and worse and worse, standing on a square of an outdated take. It's just outdated. It doesn't mean much. Because again, as you see, small guards are averaging 24, 25, 26. Trae Young is averaging 25. Now the question is what did you believe what quality of a player did you believe? And again, he was showing you the clutch stats. He was showing you he could be dependent on his closer. This was just anti-New York drivel that you were using antiquated, outdated info, and mind you, again, not accurate. There have been multiple small guards to lead their team in scoring. Now, again, that 1A nonsense. You've seen ensemble cast when the San Antonio Spurs beat the dog shit out of the Heat. And their leading scorer scored 16 points a game. That type of analysis is needed. It's not about who scores the most. It just, listen, you had a Tim Duncan again. At the time, the Knicks didn't have Carl, they had Julius Randle. Julius Randle was all NBA. So if she given it just the right amount of analysis, then she, again, just to understand that Jalen Brunson, the Knicks had a good enough building cast. They were building a cast of players, and again, it was just basically you stopped the whole dream of the Knicks could even be contenders, despite having a good coach at the time, Tom Thibodeau, despite having a good cast of players, by just saying Brunson, you stopped at Brunson, he's not that dude. They need a dude. Anyway, what can I tell you? Becky Hammon is just stupid and unaccountable. That's the part that I hate, because again, she can just. It's like you're trying to save face. You knew you were wrong. You can't just say, you know what, I was wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. But the thing is like, I think that's what it is. You were paid to give the opinion that they wanted. It was stupid. It was antiquated. It doesn't make you look like you have your finger on the pulse. And that's why you ain't got no business being, stay where you are, coaching it, riding the best player in the WNBA to championships, because you'll never be a head coach in the NBA, and you don't deserve it. Peace.